And they want to throw God's wonderful breathing system out the door.
Where do you derive the authority to regulate human breathing?
Every single one of you that are obeying the devil's laws are going to be arrested.
You're removing our freedoms and stomping on our constitutional rights by these communist dictatorship orders.
Hello and welcome back to Gabagool in 8. I'm Wes Dawson. Now, I just want to give a quick little disclaimer just to let you know this is not some politically charged episode where we're going to debate wearing masks, not wearing masks. Is coronavirus real? Is it not? Am I an educated, compassionate human being, or am I akin to those angelic voices from these well-educated and extremely well-informed people at the start of the episode? An interesting fact is that this particular video was what inspired a new segment that you'll be hearing in coming episodes called Shoot or Pistol Whip. Basically, I describe something that's happened or something that somebody has said, and I determine whether or not these people should be shot dead or just pistol whipped to maybe teach them a lesson or maybe shake something around in their brain, get them going right. Outside of the pandemic, just in general, human beings have always described ourselves as the superior species, the apex predators. We are the top dogs. This is my yard. We are the Roman Reigns of species. Anybody who gets that joke doesn't agree with it, first of all. It's a piss poor joke. It's just basically, I can't say the word dog without thinking of that man now, and basically is what resulted in the amount of aggression you see in my household. So yes, we're supposed to be the superior species. Yet I have seen on Côte Vertu, there is a fence, like a 7-foot high metal fence separating the two pathways, the two roadways, to keep people from getting hit by cars. Now, I've seen this technology used before, so it's not like it's the first time. It's like, hey, Wes, you're coming down hard on something. I've seen this used to keep deer off the highway before. So you make that comparison, yeah, we must be superior to all other animals. We literally have disclaimers on hot coffee that it's hot. And, a friend of mine, we've gone into a great debate over that. And, well, yes, if I hand you like a fucking bubbling cauldron of hot liquid and it burns you, well, that's on me. Whereas if I hand you a cup of hot coffee, it should kind of be inherent that it is going to be hot. I don't understand that. There are warnings not to drink bleach. Hot coffee, you don't know any better. You're about to drink it. Who the fuck drinks bleach? Have you been near this stuff? You smell it, touch it, get near it. It's abrasive, it's toxic, it burns, there's nothing about it that's appetizing or appealing. So if you end up drinking bleach, you probably deserve every single drop of it. And if it's unfortunately a child who drank it, well, line them up with those child virtuosos and give them a couple shooters. So I don't want to crap on my fellow brothers and sisters too much. We're going to move on to just some weird social things that we do as people, that we do within our own society that not only does it irk me, it confuses the living shit out of me. When people ask me, how's the weather? Hey, or just talk about the weather. Hey, boy, yeah, it's supposed to rain today. Oh, yeah, it's a bit chillier than yesterday. And I do it too because sometimes you don't know what to say. But at the same time, like, nobody cares about the weather unless you're like a meteorologist. Who gives a shit? Like, if it's raining, well, you put up your windows. If it's sunny out, you put on your shorts. Like, it's such a useless conversation. It kills me every time. Or what, when you're working with someone or you've befriended someone, you can't remember their name, but you've been talking to them about things other than the weather for long enough that you can't ask them their name at this point. So you start calling them Chief, Bud, hey there. You find any kind of nickname that isn't too condescending and hope that someone else will bring up their name in conversation. Now, there's other aspects that aren't purely social things. Let's talk about people on Facebook posting real dumb shit. Now, oh my God, the snooze feature on Facebook is like my new favorite thing. I love it. Mainly because sometimes you don't want to block them because people that dumb, you want to kind of keep tabs on them, know what they're up to. But at the same time, you don't want to see their dumb crap. So snooze them away. I love it. One thing I've seen in the news recently that I particularly love, I love a good debate. I love a good discussion, and something I've seen recently is a lot of people in the U.S., like, when challenged with either wearing a mask, challenged with just about anything, their reply is, I'm an American citizen. No one was questioning your citizenship they're questioning you not abiding to rules set on private property in a private establishment. Like, basically, unless you're in an international airport or something and, they're questioning which embassy to direct you to, and then you say, I'm an American citizen. Perfectly valid. But if it's pretty well any other discussion and your reply is, I'm an American citizen, you basically sound like Randy Marsh from South Park. Now, have you ever had this happen where you're driving on the highway? I usually use cruise control. Keep that bad boy peeling at a solid 162. A car pulls up to you and they're like past drag racing you. And they're slowing down, speeding up. Sometimes they cut behind you like, I'm on cruise control. And though it may be a panty drop in sport edition, I drive a Toyota Corolla. So it's not like I'm out there racing anybody with my fancy grandpa car, but this happens all the time. But probably the worst and most embarrassing social awkward situation is accepting somebody else's wave. You've done it. I've done it. It's happened to everyone. And it may be one of the most soul-crushing things I can think of. Well, before we wrap up this week's episode, we're going to go into a new segment I like to call Hollywood Buzz. Cue some weird-ass sound effect. All right, so what's coming up in film for 2021? We have a reboot of Mrs. Doubtfire with Vin Diesel playing the lead role, Billie Eilish playing the role of Matilda. I don't remember the character or the actress's name, but she played Matilda later on. And a bunch of other people for the other roles that nobody really gave a crap about. Sally Field will reprise her own role. They're going to make a film version of Malcolm in the Middle. Frankie Muniz will be back playing the titular role of Malcolm. It'll be about the growing tension within his family due to the neglect that he had suffered growing up, as well as his fried genius from having huffed discount spray paints. It'll be a gritty drama. It'll air on HBO. It's going to be great. Saw 26, with all new twists and turns that we have not yet seen, which is kind of hard to say because they're basically the same film over and over again. And of course, with the popularity of The Last Dance, they will be turning it into a full-length feature film following the Chicago Bulls' rise to fame in the late 90s, and somehow they're going to shoehorn Julia Stiles into that film. We have run out of time for this week's episode, much like the women earlier in the episode who've run out of male suitors calling their home due to their fucking fantastical ideas of what's normal. So we're just going to burn into what is upcoming for next week's episode. I toe the line between impersonations and racism. We find out how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood. Well, we pretty much tie them in place and I hurl logs at them and see how well they can defend themselves. And dogs' mouths, are they really nature's antiseptic? I share my home dog mouth remedies my family has utilized for generations. So please listen, like, subscribe, and always remember,